What is up, guys? Kevin Cage back with another XRP update. If you want daily crypto news, be sure to like and subscribe, and let's dive right into this one. I'm going to be sipping some coffee while we get through this video. There is a bunch of information, so props to all that can stick around for this one. I think you're really going to enjoy it. First off, I want to mention some XRP statistics for all of you holders out there. I also want to talk about the trends for 46 million plus Americans owning Bitcoin today and comparing that to XRP talking about additional upside. I want to mention Flare Networks. I want to talk about the SEC allegations. I will talk about one of my favorite DeFi projects that I'm currently holding right now, as well as QNT, Quant, or Overledger, essentially an operating system to allow not only these fragmented payment silos of the traditional world, but also them to essentially be bridged to this new essentially internet of value. So very big things. As you guys know, I did buy QNT the very end, probably during the pump of 2018, and I'll show you that specifically. It sounds like I got at some low price. To be honest, I really didn't. I've had my fair share of losses along the way, so I'll share that with you. And if this video gets too dragged out, I may break it up into two parts, but for those of you that stick around and hit the like button, appreciate it. So first things first. We have this shared by Status. Links are in the video description. You can visit his site as well at status.hr. A bunch of infographics if you are new to the XRP community, want to learn, everything is sourced as well. So this is from June 2020, just so you know, and we can see about 2.02 million people have invested into XRP. So I'm assuming this is just counting the number of wallet activations from the Ledger Exposed website. Now that is just my assumption going forward. And keep in mind, many of us have many XRP addresses. Just like I don't have a single bank account, I have at least, a dozen crypto exchanges that I am, verified on, KYC, AML, etc. So I have at least 12 accounts there, if not way more, probably 2 dozen. And then I have wallet addresses for cold storage. So, me alone, I may have, 20 plus XRP addresses. So I'm curious, is it really 2 million people overall that have invested into XRP? Or is it much less? Is it only 1 million people? So that is a good question to ask. So notice we take the 7.8 billion population at the time in June 2020. So we take 2 million people divided by 7.8 billion, and that's approximately 0.000, so 3 zeros, 25. So cut that into a percent, move the decimal place over twice, and then we have this 0.025% have invested into XRP. Notice with PayPal, there's about 310 million users. There's only about 322 XRP available for each PayPal user. If you wanted to break it down in the world, each person, if they wanted to buy XRP out of the 100 billion supply, is 12.8 XRP. Now, I do know there's a lot of speculation, some conspiracy theories that who knows what happens regarding the SEC and essentially the escrowed amount of XRP, saying that supply could, eventually not be allowed to be traded, or, kind of like how XLM's, half their supply, 50% was cut and just burnt altogether. Yes, it's fun to entertain those ideas, but I'm just going to take it one step of the way. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Of course, that could have some very good implications, but there would also be negative effects. So do not just be fooled into thinking that limiting the supply is always good and great for the XRP ledger and the ecosystem and worldwide adoption. There's a lot of things to consider, okay? Now, just to excite you a little bit more, so right here we have this 0.025% of people in the world, less than 1%, less than 0.1%, have invested in the XRP. Well, luckily we know that that's not, XRP's use case. It's not meant for us retailers to hold. This is an institutional wholesale use case. So we have to consider other possibilities. We know that they are involved in a lot of other initiatives, not just for on-demand liquidity, which is of course a central part of XRP's success in the future. We can talk about the trends we're seeing, such as AI or even the Internet of Things, the IoT revolution in front of our eyes. And think, typically at home, I'm sure you guys have conservatively 3 to 5 devices plugged into the internet, whether that's a tablet, whether it's your Alexa, whether it's your printer, things of that nature. Well, what happens in the future when your refrigerator is plugged in and whenever meals are low, it orders it automatically and pays for food to order off Amazon or Whole Foods, or your car is plugged into those networks? Exactly. So we're talking billions of devices that will be connected to these networks, and yes, they will be synced and developed to essentially do payments. Now, Ethereum, I'm a holder, I'm a believer in this ecosystem because it was one of the first to not only do what Bitcoin does, but better, but allow programmable money without a third-party intermediary. Guys, this is massive. I'm just going to be screaming this from the rooftops for the coming years, and there's going to be a lot of money made in this ecosystem for those that are patient, all right? So 7.8 billion people, awesome. Billions of devices on the way to be connected, even those that we've never even considered. Awesome. I did get I know I told you guys the other day, an Oculus Quest 2, just my first little VR headset. So much fun. I've spent a stupid amount of money buying some games on it, but really having fun and just imagining it integrating with payments. Currently, mine's just integrated with PayPal, but it's the same concept. So imagine micro payments that, of course, Coil, an XRP initiative, is working on. Former CTO of Ripple, Stephen Thomas, building that, and this is the same guy that built the Bitcoin code from scratch. So before you Bitcoin maxis, think I'm all against Bitcoin. No, I'm not. I'm all for it. If it can go to 250K, awesome. If regulators smash it and it's low price, I couldn't tell you. It's too early to tell. What I'm saying is I'm holding assets that have much more upside, in my opinion, and are based off of utility. So just like XRP, just like QNT, just like ADA, VeChain, HBAR, a variety of assets, even if I didn't name yours. It is hero or zero. They're not just going to solve the problem and survive and do okay. They're either going to fade away or obviously make a dent in the universe. And this goes for many other assets in this ecosystem. All right. Also, instead of just 7.8 billion people, Internet of Things with another billion devices, several billion devices, by the way, if not, 10 billion or more. And then we also have to consider the institutions and the institutional users. So there are massive multiplier effects. I could go on and on and on about this. We'll talk about even the Internet of Movement with driving and this whole Mobi, this mobile initiative that many assets like QNT and XRP are a part of. No surprise. All right. So now what happens with Jevons paradox, obviously in economics, when you're able to, rather than send money only during weekdays, 250 days a year, 260 days a year, when you're able to send money 24/7, 365 on holidays at 3 a.m, rather than just on those weekdays. Not only in terms of 24/7 access, but at the cost of a tenth of a penny, rather than a remittance payment, as we know, of roughly a 7% fee. What then? Exactly, guys. That is why I am bullish long-term in this ecosystem. These price swings, they don't affect me. I'm emotionally numb to it. It is just a game of waiting, and I can guarantee that I will outweight the majority of people in this ecosystem. We are seeing the adoption curve starting to move. We're seeing custodians worth billions of dollars building infrastructure for crypto assets, building STO, security tokenized offerings. In my opinion, for me, and I'm not judging anybody because we all have our own financial situation, I did not come here for several years to get scared out of my favorite asset, and I'm not going anywhere. Now, is the bottom for XRP in? I can't promise you that yet. There's, liquidity providers that are not making markets. There's still a lot of allegations. What I'm saying is, the longer we are here, the longer the base, the higher in space. And I wholeheartedly believe that XRP will make it out of this mess, and I believe that Ripple even will make it out of this mess relatively unscathed. Okay, so we'll keep going. Keep in mind, even OCC's Brian Brooks went on to quote again, a big blockchain proponent from Coinbase, and now he's leading the US banking system, overseeing it, so to speak. And even if he leaves, his job may potentially be done. He's already connected and done some very great legislation for this ecosystem, guys. He allowed banks to custody crypto assets in July in the United States, one of the toughest countries, jurisdictions in the world, setting the standard for many other countries to follow suit, when in fact many other countries were leading the way. All right. So right here, this was on NYDIG. If I have not said this already, because I'm already forgetting, Chris Larson, I believe, does hold some XRP with this organization. And we can see right here, our findings suggest that 46 million plus Americans own Bitcoin today. That's more than 22% of adults over the age of 18. So if you guys, we just passed Christmas or, the holidays in the US here, and I'm certain some of you parents with kids that play video games like Fortnite, if you've heard of it, I'm certain some of you probably got some V-Bucks for your kids, digital money to buy digital suits and digital weapons in these games. This is common. Remember, us old timers, we're not going to be seeing this. We don't have to get it right now, but you have to watch what these children and teenagers are doing. Trends are your friends, and I think those that pay attention will capitalize massively off this. We do know that people or kids under the age of 25 are much more likely to buy a digital asset rather than a share of a company. It's just how our brains work, and what we have to understand and remember, for any old timers even watching this video, and I'm sure a lot of you just get it if you're already watching this video, is money is nothing but a social construct. Everything in society is just an agreement. It's it's all societal. So the question is it really all ones and zero? Is there some truth and, not truth? Or is it a lot more quantum? Instead of black and white, is it a lot more gray? Is there a gray area? Is anything really certain? Well, 2020 taught us a lot of things. It's been crazy, so I can't rule anything out. And remember, I think that we're just oscillating between the spectrum and bouncing between these waves forever, for that matter, just like a wave in the ocean. Not to sound like a little annoying philosophical guy there, but that's just part of the rant, all right? This is freestyle. Now, regarding Tether, this is not to scare you guys, but to inform you. Tether and the January 15th deadline. Check this out. So we can see the New York Attorney General, NYAG, is accusing Tether of violating regulations relating to, for example, providing unauthorized services to the United States customers or harming investors. Very interesting. There's still doubts remaining as to whether USDT created by Tether, and you guys can see, we're talking billions with a B. Billions have been minted alone recently in recent months. We see hundreds of millions all the time moving through the markets. If you watched one of my previous videos telling you to follow Whale Alert, you can watch those blockchain transactions on the move. And yes, sometimes they essentially happen right before a massive pump in the market or a massive dump in the market. So watch when they're minting, watch when they stop minting. The trends don't lie, and that's what I will tell you. All right. So when your grandma's asking you to buy Bitcoin, that is when I potentially get out of the market and sit on the sidelines. So doubts remain as to whether USDT created by Tether are collateralized. The company claims that they are 100% collateralized. So they claim they are 100% collateralized. If, anyone finds out that they're only 80% collateralized, there could be some big FUD in this market. There could be a lot of fear. And remember, me and many other channels are talking about this possibility. It's not popular, it's not a good thing to get views, but it is to inform people that are throwing their hard-earned money into this market. Now, bubbles are good. There's plenty of opportunity to make money. There may be much more opportunity in the months ahead for certain alts, but you just cannot guarantee it, all right? So pay attention to this, largely backed by US dollars, with about a quarter backed by other assets. What will happen to Tether on January 15th? We can see right here. It's necessary to point out that January 15th deadline only provides for the delivery of the required documentation. Therefore, it does not provide for any ruling yet. So it's purely a technical deadline. We're going to keep an eye on this, all right? So I know some people are, terrified. Other people are just, keeping this on their radar. And I would just recommend keeping this on your radar and be aware. I'm not holding Tether. I'm not going to be transacting in Tether. I personally just, do not want to risk it at this point. Okay. Now, this is another video, pretty cool. So this is Flare Community. Please go watch this video if you're interested in generating a passive income. We know Flare networks with Avalanche Consensus, Ethereum for smart contracts, and XRP for not only super fast, cheap or cost-effective settlements, but overall just validation of these networks using the best of these three. It's like Ethereum 3.0, as many people are saying, and I completely agree. Funny that Flare Community put us in here. So we got Darren Moore as Tiger Woods, we got King Solomon either ice skating or running like a ninja with his arms behind his back. We got Jungle Inc. Riding a horse like Clint Eastwood. And we got Kevin right here looking like he's just going straight down in a scuba suit. So thought it was really cool. They have the blogs linked in that video if you guys want to check it out. So Generate Passive Income. You guys can follow them on Twitter. Highly recommend doing so. And it's all about this FTSO, breaking it all down. Highly recommend it. And he just took these, little guys and put them there. So I thought it was clever to just put some XRP YouTubers in the video. And I thought it was very, very well explained. I'm sure many of you have seen it. I have retweeted it, but very cool. And it did remind me of last time I was scuba diving. I was over in Indonesia a couple years back, and I was right off the coast of Bali, off the Java Sea, and I thought it was called the Java Strait, but I can't really remember. And it was kind of by it was like a black sand beach. I'm just trying to remember where it was. Maybe it was actually on this coast by Denpasar. Nonetheless, super cool. Not to rant and change the subject, but I remember I was a day late and there was a massive whale shark and a calf that I missed when I came. So darn, next time. All right. Now, another announcement for XRP holders. This is very important to note, very important to keep an eye on. So this is on gatehub.net. If you guys have an account, definitely create one. Keep an eye on everything. We have carefully reviewed the complaint that the SEC filed in the Federal District Court in New York alleging Ripple's XRP should have been registered as a security upon its creation in 2012. Guys, it's been 8 years. What's happening? Is all the world a stage? Is this just a giant chess game? Is there something much bigger occurring? Because I think if Ripple was doomed to fail, why has it been here 8 years strong? Why was it the first consensus network to go outside of proof of work? In my opinion, for its use case, it's far superior to even proof of stake. And yes, I hold proof of stake assets. I like proof of stake assets, just so you guys know. But I believe XRP will be one of the assets that solves the payments problem in a massive way, right? So more than 8 years ago, upon XRP's creation and charging that Ripple and its senior managers later engaged in market manipulation and self-dealing. And you guys can see the reference right here. Now, remember, I shared on Instagram, links are in the video description, David Schwartz, referencing this, saying even in 2019, we meet with the SEC essentially every week. Why would you come at us, years later or 2 years later doing this? It's almost like he knew all along. Take my tinfoil hat off. I don't want to upset the guys for being a conspiracy theorist, but we have to speculate in a speculative market. Also, please be advised, Gatehub will continue listing XRP until the SEC's complaint against Ripple is adjudicated and a final decision entered that XRP is properly classified as a security. We're not talking about early onset sales, Ripple getting a slap on the wrist, execs getting fines, any of that. We're talking about if XRP today, on a going forward basis, is classified as a security. I do not believe that happens whatsoever. Right here, until we receive a cease and desist notice from the SEC. And you guys have to understand this. If you're new to the community and you're new to XRP investing, I'm not saying XRP will not be a security because I feel like it or because I hold a lot of XRP. Obviously, I own a lot, I do a lot of research, and I do have confirmation bias to a certain degree. But I'm saying this because there's many other countries that have already offered clarity in like these nations, the UK with the FCA, Japan with the FSA. They've already said XRP is not a security. So again, just to repeat for any newcomers that buy into this fund and actually sell out of their holdings and are terrified, it is either going to be a currency, a commodity, a utility token, a payments token. There's going to be some new type of classification. It will not be a security. There's early onset practices. Many cryptos have gotten slaps on the wrist, have gotten, yelled at or fined by the SEC for early onset, practices. But all in all, they come out of this mess. So we know that Ripple's already meeting with Jay Clayton, former SEC chairman, on the public calendar. They're meeting with the Trump administration. What is his name? John Roscoe, the assistant to the president. We can know they're on stage with the IMF, the Bank of International Settlements, which is the central bank of all central banks for that matter. They're at the World Economic Forum and on the Global Cryptocurrency Council of the World Economic Forum. Like, I just roll my eyes at anybody that actually buys this crap. So anyways, just wanted to vent there. Onward, and I'm probably going to split this video up into two because it's getting dragged out, but I will be talking about QNT in the next video as well with its relationship to XRP. I hold both, and one success of one does not mean the failure of another. They will actually be rather complementary, and very few realize that. All right, so anyways, you guys can see more about this here, the official complaint, just on the SEC's website, .gov. Now, this is what I want to reference. 3 examples of how decentralized finance, DeFi, is integrating with the traditional infrastructure. So I know in the past, yes, we've talked about Amplify. I want to talk about Kava as well in hard protocol. There's some very interesting essentially months ahead per the roadmap for 2021 for Kava. So from memory, keep in mind, Kava is connected to a lot of other assets. So instead of just essentially doing things like, lending and all of this on the Ethereum blockchain, it can interact with Ethereum, ERC20 tokens, Bitcoin, BNB, and also XRP. And it's very, very unique for that matter. It has oracles connected to Chainlink, Link, another one of my long-term holdings. It even is connected to the SDK of the Cosmos platform. Cosmos, you may be familiar with the crypto Atom, ATOM. It is going to be listed on Bitrue as well. If not, I think it's listed tomorrow, actually. I'll have to double check that. But overall, guys, it's a very interesting project, and there's $96 million worth of digital assets locked in this protocol right now. So I'm paying attention to that. Amplify, we've talked about. Hard protocol, definitely recommend looking into it. Now, yes, primarily I hold XRP. It's one of my biggest holdings, but there's still about 20 plus other assets that I'm scattered about and hold because you just have no idea how big this space could get. And what if one asset goes up 10x before another asset does? And I could take a little profit or get my original investment out and let the rest ride for life. You just have flexibility. There's a lot less stress. I've made mistakes, just so you guys know. 2017, 2018, I would sell an asset, it kept going, I'd FOMO back into it, buying it higher, then it would dump, I'd sell out of it, try to buy back lower, it went up, and you would literally just keep losing like 10%, 20% and like lose all your capital. I've made those mistakes, so that's where I'm talking from. It's from a place of not even experience, just experience and making those mistakes, like humbly admitting that. All right, so notice this. We cannot help but notice that it is imperative that DeFi, now an $18 billion market, conquers new frontiers to unlock new growth dynamics. Pay attention to all the staking networks, even AVAX. Cardano is one of the biggest staking networks now. Polkadot, and AVAX came out of nowhere, guys. Avalanche Consensus, which is all related to Flare networks. I cannot believe that Flare is still in the teens right now, around 18 cents or so. And we all are going to get our airdrop, and we understand the distribution calendar. You guys can all learn that on the Flare blog, and go watch that video like I told you on Flare community when you have time. Okay, so all in all, pay attention to Kava. They have some very exciting things ahead. All right, so Amplify, I've talked about them in the past. Kava, hard, yep, here's the Cosmos station again, just referring to all of that. We can see even Secure Protocol audited and verified. So Quantstamp, where have we seen them before? Well, of course, Ripple's, backing Kava, so that's another reason. Cosmos, as I've already mentioned, but Quantstamp. Now, this is going to take me into my next point. I know I've done a lot of videos on this, but I just want to remind a lot of newcomers in this ecosystem that came in when XRP was 60 cents or 80 cents to stay confident, all right? So this is MOBI. This is MIBI. So you can go to this website at dlt.mobi. Mobility Open Blockchain Initiative. There's a lot of cryptos here, building the new economy of movement. So we've talked about the economy of autonomy and automation. We've talked about the internet of value. Well, what is movement? And if you guys want to watch this video, definitely recommend doing so. We can talk about even energy consumption with Energy Web Tokens partnership with XRP, the XRP Ledger Foundation. And there's just a lot of exciting things, guys. There's so much, and it's so hard to keep up to date with all of this, and smart cities right here. But look, right here, we have Quant, QNT, we have Quantstamp, which we just saw with Kava's relationship. We have Ripple and many others, guys. We have R3, which is just another behemoth. I think that they will have a promising future unless they're just kind of a hedge that Swift will be leveraging. World Economic Forum. Let's see, Accenture, one of Ripple's first investors, helping the digital dollar project. BMW, a bunch of car manufacturers, no surprise. Honda, Ford, you can see all of this. Fetch AI, Consensus. All right, so Fetch is all the artificial automation, autonomy, whereas this is movement. Hyperledger, they're all interconnected. Ethereum. So remember, I think this space is going to get a lot better. Instead of with tribalism saying I'm all in on this and your project sucks, you have to be more open-minded than that. And I'm not saying, because right now I'm kind of blanketed too much. I really need to narrow down my assets, so to speak, and rebalance my portfolio a bit better. But I just cannot ignore all of this. And then look at what these specific groups are doing. Ocean Protocol, another one, database tracking. This may be added to Coinbase shortly, just like Kava. Keep an eye on that. All right. Anyways, onward. Talked about hard, mentioned that. And remember, just geopolitically speaking, guys, there is so much happening in this ecosystem. The BRICS nations, the battles, we hear more and more talks about negative interest rates, they can provide significant stimulus to the Bank of England. Bank of England is on record to be a paid Ripple customer as well. You can see Kava right here, and just look at this, $90 million locked up. You can see XRP right there. So total supply, 1.6 million, all right? So keep an eye on this. Of course, you can earn these. Originally, I think it was just BNB, but then Bitcoin and XRP were added in a variety of stablecoins. So I'm just saying, pay attention to DeFi. There's going to be many, many other projects. I know many people were big on the Uniswap and made a good killing there. All I'm saying is, don't get sucked into one little rabbit hole, because you may miss some other opportunities. I've missed opportunities, but I've also made a lot of good opportunities and smart decisions. So patience really does pay. And I know it's hard to believe it sometimes when we come down, 50%, but we're going to get out of this mess. All right. Next, right here, Bitcoin Custodian backed is in talks to go public. The institutional crypto firm may go public at a valuation of $2 billion. Now, of course, that's easy to believe considering just the recent pullback in the market. We see over $2.4 billion worth of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP and other coins have been liquidated on derivative exchanges. Guys, I do not currently trade leverage with crypto. It is a very, very dangerous game. Now, I've had good trades. I've had, good wins. I've had big losses too. The only way you are successful is if you master your psychology with this trading, because eventually you get one big win and it turns into gambling. You up the leverage, you get margin called, you get desperate, you go all in, you think the money's going to go or the market's going to go a certain way. And you have to understand, these market makers and even these AI trading bots, they have feeds into the order books, meaning they can see all buys and sells. So mathematically, they're going to choose the one that makes them the most money. They can throw a wick on whatever price they want as a flash wick you out and get you margin called, liquidate you altogether. You lose all your money, and then they can go back to right to where they were originally. I'm just telling you this from experience. I know a lot of people that have lost a lot of money. I'm not smarter than AI. I'll tell you that right now. And how I beat them is with patience, and also some good hedges, and I do some very good scalp trading. Okay? Patience pays. That's what I want to repeat to you guys. So back, we're going to pay attention to this. This is the future of crypto assets. The money, ICE Intercontinental Exchange, literally the parent of one of the world's biggest stock exchange. They're all, invested and backed and interested in this ecosystem of not only Bitcoin, but of crypto assets. We saw NASDAQ's partnership with R3 back in April of 2020, last year. We know Bank of America's integrations with Bitstamp and many of these other custodians, banks, payment providers, and MSBs. It's just, I don't even understand why I'm sounding like I have to convince you guys. It's coming, and I know many people will only believe it when the price of XRP is already high, but those of us watching this video or doing research now are going to make the biggest return. CME right here, Legacy Exchange, traded for more than $3.8 billion per skew data. Bybit traded over $29 billion. Like these, Binance and Bybit. Absolutely insane. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that, and let me see if there's anything else I want to cover. I will go over this in the next video with QNT. Keep in mind, I shared this, but I was just saying, I remember seeing these old videos back in 2018 of quarter four, probably October, November, December. It was during the pump, unfortunately, so I didn't buy QNT at some super low price like I make it seem. April 24th, 2018, this is Blockchain Brad. He has a bunch of interviews, even some from last year, I believe. And I remember watching this, and this is Gilbert Verdian, and he's literally the CEO of Quant. And I saw this at the time, and keep in mind, we had April 2018, we saw XRP, a few months before that at almost $4. So emotions were high. FOMO was high. You wanted to get your money in the market because you thought you were going to miss out. And that's how I was acting. And I remember seeing this months later and just FOMOing in to obviously, QNT and many other assets on exchanges what was it? Maybe IDEX with an Ethereum pair. It was ridiculous. There was no liquidity. You thought you were going to lose your money. You were afraid of, leaving your assets on an exchange like that without even, doing any type of compliance. Just a different type of ecosystem. So it's funny to look back at that as well, because I think a lot of people that made it through the .com bubble or, tell some funny, horror stories as well. All right. And I was talking to obviously King Solomon, if you guys follow him on YouTube as well, another XRP researcher. And we were chatting later on. He made me FOMO even more. And of course, QNT is doing very well. If you guys want the full price history of Quant, you guys can go to charts.cointrader.pro. You can find the full price history. This is from CoinMarketCap as well. Even around this time, it was anywhere from 20 cents to as high as $4 or $5 per those wicks, which is crazy on the daily. I got in probably, I don't know, $1 to $3, something like that. But keep in mind, we revisited those prices under $2 again during that March 2020 crash, and now we're sitting at $18. So absolutely crazy. Keep in mind, you guys can get QNT on Bitrue. They do run an XRP validator, and they also listed the IOU for the Flare token, which is currently at 17 cents. I'm not really concerned about the price of Flare right now. I'm more of a long-term holder in this ecosystem. I'm not looking to liquidate. I did participate in the drop, and I'm so excited because if Flare succeeds and this token, this IOU, becomes very, very valuable in the future, this could be a very, very lucrative investment that we can set and forget, that we never even had to really put money in to get initially. So really cool. And I just wanted to, encourage you guys for, traders, for investors, stay patient. You get really good at things after doing them badly long enough. All right. So we've all experienced those times when we could have bought the dip. We didn't. The asset shoots up. We calculate how much we could have made. We dwell on it, the opportunity cost. Go to bed angry, you wake up grumpy. But you know what's worse than that is buying an asset, it dumping, and you losing your capital altogether. So please have patience, stay positive. This market is going to continue to oscillate with opportunities. And notice the ground floor is rising, right? So we're going to have, again, higher lows each time. So we can just keep going. We'll get there in due time. This market will be maturing. Remember, we just surpassed $1 trillion in the crypto market cap. Will we stay there, or will we keep going straight up? I couldn't tell you that right away. What I'm saying is This is a new asset class that is going to swallow all others. The first asset class that has been here since the 1600s. Everything will be tokenized. We know the global stock markets combined surpassed $100 trillion with a T. What happens when that's tokenized and interoperates with some of these public networks and blockchain systems? You tell me, guys. I am excited. Do not FOMO into assets when the price moves. There's a lot happening. I did all the FOMOing I needed to do in 2017 and 2018. Stay positive. Be sure to tune into the next video. And if you have not already, be sure to go to this website, dlt.mobi, to learn more and watch these videos. Super, super informative, super exciting, and paints a picture of where we're most likely going to be going. And it hopefully will allow you guys to look into other verticals instead of just payments. Now, payments, that's why I hold XRP. It's one of the most obvious, most necessary use cases that needs to be fixed now. Hence why all the central banks are developing real-time payment initiatives and schemes, CBDCs, domestic payment, infrastructure, and developing these rails and fixing cross-border payments. This opportunity is here. This opportunity is real. I'm not taking this opportunity lightly at all. I know it's hard to believe when price is low for a week or months on end, but this is simply the beginning. Those that have ears will listen. Links are in the video description, and I will see you in the next one.